nice to meet you guys.
So happy to see you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Well, I think we might have to give credit for the winning move to Kim's drawing every night. What was the inspiration to this note taking?
We just found these.
I packed them because we do like a little recap, as well. So I was going to talk about that. So we packed these. So I took copious notes because it's very calming to me to take notes. But I just figured it would be a visual challenge. So I'm the worst artist ever, but I would draw pictures in my notebook, and I had to make weight. I cut them out.
Like the guy at a pit stop.
That was a Trafalgar Square.
The arches at the monastery.
Yeah.
But
that looks like a little like a penis, but hold on. So that's Napoleon. The guy, right? So
and then the answer on the other side, right? And it's got the what the flag looks like, where he's from. So I'm
the worst artist ever. So don't be like, and then we put them. I would at practice because we had nothing else to do in the hotel rooms. Sure. So lay these all out and in the wrong order, and then I would have him assemble them in the right order, or that we would do like quiz ourselves on the numbers of it. So I thought there'd either be numbers or pictures. And so we would find different ways to quiz each other.
But here's the cool thing about how we figured that out. I think Kim figured this out. So because Kim just, when we have downtime, she's always going. And it's I think it's a way to kind of manage her anxiety sometimes, just to take notes and like do all these things. But she noticed that at the pit stops, Phil kept telling us to look at things.
He was like, look at this view.
Yeah. And he was like,
there's, we in Lugano. He was like, look, there's Italy over there. I was like, he's making us look over here. Mm-hmm. There must be something over here we're supposed to be like. And so that's when I was like, And so that's when I kind of went back and started just like drawing pictures of everything.
Okay. Yeah. Well, that turned out to, I think, maybe be the winning move. That was interesting note taking. But Penn, you talking about your ADHD superpower, I think touched a lot of people. It was very interesting to hear. Did you realize that this was going to be so useful on the race?
No, I didn't. And I know how the ADHD brain works. I've learned a lot more sense just through this experience that the reason why we space out and don't realize that a clue is a clue, which happened earlier in the season,
by the way,
is because our brain is trying to function on a lot of different levels. And if there's too many things going on at the same time, it doesn't work that way. But if there's just one thing for you to focus on, which for us, no phones, no TV, no internet, none of that stuff, just your partner and winning this race. If you can focus on one thing, you can absorb and process information more effectively than a normal person can. And it can become your superpower. So these challenges were kind of perfect for an ADHD person, as long as you didn't panic too much. You could absorb a lot of information. So I felt pretty confident. I mean, I'm glad Kim took the notes, but I felt comfortable that I would remember all those. And a lot of these other memory challenges, it served to my benefit. And the only thing that we really had to do was make sure that I never carried the fanny pack.
Yeah.
Because that was one too many things, because I would have lost the passport. I would have been like Team Fun and I would have lost the passport and the fanny pack. It would have happened. So I had a great partner who helped manage that in a way that it didn't get out of hand.
Now, I thought this was going to be helpful with counting the columns, but maybe
there
not.
was a vision test.
Yeah.
Okay, what was the secret to that?
That being young and having young eyes, because that was a vision test.
You could see what I was looking at, right?
We would, for the record, because I have worse vision than he does, we would still be in Portugal if I had to count. Because and what they didn't show is like one side was super shady. Mm-hmm. So even on a camera, you can kind of see, but I was sitting probably 20 feet behind him and I lost count after like 22. I was like, you're doing great, babe. Just run it out. Just run it. Like, you're doing great.
It turned into a running challenge for me. I kind of knew where everybody was. And I went in my head and I was like, I think the worst I can do is, I think I could do about 15 of these legs. I could run 15 times. It would have been 7.5 miles. But I was like, I think if I can get within 15 of the number.
I'm telling you, I'd still be there. Because it was a quarter mile there and a quarter mile back. So he had to guess 7 times.
Yeah.
So that was, he just turned it into a running game. And then Kayla with her young eyes and her glasses just runs up 106. And she comes up, she's like, I got it. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me?
Right?
Yeah. So yeah, there's nothing you can do. And also I go to the doctor and I'm like, can my vision get any better? And he's like, no,
Here's some glasses.
Yeah, you're 47. Enjoy the rest of life with your crappy eyesight.
Yeah.
I assume the nerd glasses are for close up.
Yes, they are. Yep,
yes, they were not helping with the distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, another iffy time, no stone unturned. I mean, my heart goes out to each and every one of you who had to do that. Was this the hardest moment of the whole race?
I think that was because you see me. So I walk in initially and I was like, I went production brain, which did not serve me, because I just kind of walked around. I'm like, let me look for like the styrofoam rock. Like, let me look for the one that is different, or find 4 that really stick out. So I was just kind of like pacing around. I was like, okay. And then I'm just going to go where the GoPros are.
Yeah.
And then the rocks were not near the GoPros. So I started off. And then, as you saw, I touched every rock. I just didn't flip them. But I knew when I was walking around, because you think of those famous needle in the haystack challenges. I was thinking back to season 23.
The sand.
Yeah. So the sand castles where, you had to rebuild them, but the people who didn't find it, they weren't digging far enough to find the clue that was buried. So it's like, what is the equivalent of not digging down far enough? And it was flipping it over. So the clue said you had to place it back exactly as you found it. So I was being like super precious about it. I was like, oh, I need to. And then Raquel very wisely was just like throwing them. And like that, she had just had a better strategy than I did. And once I saw her get it and they gave it to her after she was flipping them over, I was like, oh, okay, it's on. And it wasn't too long after that I found it.
But as that's happening, and it was 2.5 hours that we were there. Dusty and Ryan were there for 4 hours. The toll that it takes on your arms and your knees and your shins, like she looked battered. I don't know how else to describe it. Like
I had to like go. Yeah. So there's still like, I get physical therapy for my wrists still from that. So, and I have to say that like I had to go see like the medical team there and they were great.
Yes.
They were amazing.
Yeah. Advil's better in Europe.
I know. I'm like, can I get some of this German Advil?
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it is.
It was great.
Import that in. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, it honestly did seem like you guys were great at everything. I mean, it would be like, rip open the clue, cut to, you guys are there first, breezing through a challenge. What is the secret to your sauce?
So what you just described was the travel there. And the way that they edit it, and I think it's smart, they don't show a lot of the transit, but we navigated really well. And because we're older, we read maps as children. We read maps when we were 16 until we were about 35 and iPhones showed up. So we were very strong in getting from place to place.
I think that, so I used to be a television news reporter. So my job was to sit in the passenger seat and navigate the photographer to the news story, to the crime scene. So I grew up reading maps. So I felt very confident navigating us places. And it's interesting because I do believe this had the most self-drives. I do think without a doubt, this was the hardest part, even though we did it really, I think now I can safely say we did it really well. And I have a hard time being really confident in what we do, but I can say we were probably one of the stronger navigating teams. And my armpits sweat the entire time. It was so panic inducing. Just navigating in a foreign country without GPS, when you're in a race, you can get out of the race. You can get there to the clue. And even if they ask you just to tie your shoe, it's overwhelming. It doesn't matter how hard. And after that stone task, I was just like emotionally, mentally spent. And then I had to navigate us.
Yeah.
And it was like, no, I don't want to. I'm done.
I'll tell you, a lot of times when that happened, we took a breath and took our time on that one, because navigating, it could be a way to get you up a couple of legs, but what it really could do is move you down several spots. That's where navigating is where you can really mess up. Yeah, so we were trying to be very careful not to do that.
Yeah. What was the highlight for you guys? Did you have a favorite moment?
I mean,
winning didn't suck.
I think she said we still haven't seen the end of the race. We didn't watch the television because we were watching our kids and their reaction. We were able to keep the secret from them this entire time. sometimes through misdirection. But just watching their faces when they saw what happened. And we were in kind of a cool location that Lulu and Lala put together to get the whole cast together. And just seeing their faces when they saw the surprise that we won, we will have that forever. And someone filmed it, and I got to see it. It was so great.
Yeah.
Wow. What was it like watching with them this whole season? Were they
were very proud of us. I think that, you know, your mom and dad. I mean, you don't think your mom and dad are capable of a whole lot. And so we would do anything well, and they'd be like, what? Like, are you?
Oh, that's right. Lola was stunned.
We won a leg, whatever leg it is. We won that first, maybe one of the in Greece. And she's like, are you serious? Like, you just did. She was so surprised. So I don't enjoy watching myself on video or TV. So it was actually very hard for me to watch. But so I spent most of the time just watching their reactions. During the
stone part, we all kind of have our own places in the living room where we like to sit when we watch TV. During the stone part, I think they could tell that it was bothering Kim on TV, but also bothering Kim on the couch to watch, because it was tough to watch. And they kind of both moved their way over and embraced her and just kind of put their arms around her. And that's another moment I will never. It's so funny. I'm not going to remember the actual moments as much as I'm going to remember my kids' reaction to the moments.
Wow. Well, it was so fun to watch you guys race, and then to like finish it and run through that tunnel. I mean, it chokes me up. It was, you know, I hated to hear me like, you're the oldest team to win, but like,
I'm fine with it. Hey, let's represent.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You represent a group of us that don't always get to win. So it was really nice to see.
I mean,
but thank you.
You go to the doctors now, and you're like, my knee is there's something wrong with my knee. And the doctor's like, well, that's the way that's your crappy knee for the rest of your life.
That's the way. Well, and I do think I don't mind that they mentioned that we are now the oldest team, because I do think the hill I will die on, that as a middle-aged mom, we are kind of forgotten about in terms of marketing, the stuff they're selling on Instagram, that, you know, just in terms of, it's kind of like, okay, well, that's it now. You're a middle-aged mom. There's not much to life left. And so to show,
go see Blue Man.
Go see Blue Man Group. Yeah. So I think to show, you know, a middle-aged mom that there's still some really cool things that you can do. I think, I mean,
nobody's going to forget you, honey.
Plenty of people forget me. Plenty of people are going to forget me. That's fine. Forget me. But you should not forget that, you know, you know, there's still a lot of life to live.
That's right. You guys showed everyone you can do it. Just get out there and do it, right?
Just do it. Just do it.
Well, thank you so much for chatting with me. It was very nice to actually meet you guys now.
I know. It's nice to meet you. I love your recaps and all that. It's been fun to watch you.
It's been fun seeing your armoire for all of these seasons. And no,
it's great. It's great to finally talk to you. I was
very familiar with that shot. I'm like, I know. Yeah, I know what we got here.
All right, you guys have a good one. Thanks.
Bye.